Welcome to the second round of a rapid official rated over-the-board tournament I played recently, and I want to share my second game against Michael Kerner, a very strong player, where I had the opportunity to test my online skills from recent years. Okay, so I was super excited at this point. I had one win out of one game, and now, on the contrary, I play against such a strong player, a 2100 ELO, strong candidate for being a master, national master, and he's playing with the white pieces against me, so I said to myself, this is the time to put into test my unusual repertoire of openings. And in this case, I played e4, so I played knight c6, then Nimzowitsch defense. I have the ultimate guide about this unusual opening with my sideline, but he avoided it. He transposed it into another declined variation. Instead of d4, he played knight f3, and I decided to play d6, trying to convert into my anti-Scotch game, and it indeed seems like it's going that direction. He played d4, very common move. Now he played it after the knight f3. And then I play the unusual move e5, which is not that common because most players think, yeah, you can exchange, and I can't exchange in return because I lose the opportunity to castle, as he exchanged queen on d8, or I lose the pawn in e5. So at this point he decided to take, and I went with my plan bishop g4. This is the idea, to pin the knight and provoke him to take the pawn, and by that open up your file for the nasty rook against his queen. While most players take on d6, he decided to decline this take as well and play h3, which is a strong version I don't face that much online, but here against such a strong player it's a different story. So I went to bishop h5. I wanted my strategy against such strong players, and generally with my opening repertoire, is to play tactics, to stay in middle game play, to create messes on the board with as much as pieces as possible, and I just try to avoid exchanging pieces almost always. However, in this case, now I had to think a lot because he gave me the opportunity to take back the gambit, right? He didn't take on d6, so I can take it now because now the rook is defending my queen. I was hesitating what to do. I was reluctant to take because I wanted my strategy to go on, to complicate the game with a lot of pieces and make a tactical game instead of positional game, which obviously in his level he will crush me very easily. However, at this point I decided I need to take, because this is indeed was the best move at this point. So I did it. I finally did it. Take with a pawn and now offer him an exchange of queens, which is usually not something I wanted to do. But I still have a decent opening against him. So we did exchange the rooks, and now he took a think for a while. I move it forward just for the clip. And then he played c3, which is not the best move here. As you can see, the bar is equalized. Now I played knight f6 development. And he took some time, and then he made this move, which is a bit dubious. I understand his idea to exchange bishops on e2, and then his king comes in a better place in the middle as we get to the end game. However, I wasn't planned to do so, even though it's the best move, I think. And yeah, so I hesitated, maybe I should do that, yeah. Otherwise, but yeah. I remain with my initial idea to keep the pieces on the board, even though it's already we don't have queens, but yeah, I try to complicate things, and that was not a good idea. So he moved bishop f3, and I immediately moved with my bishop to develop to the very dominant square like an Italian game. Bishop c5 to threaten the f2 pawn. And this, as you can see the evaluation bar now, I'm even have a slight advantage here, but mostly equal game. And now he made a significant mistake. I still understand what he tried to do, because first if I move with a tempi to s5 to c5, sorry, then obviously now if I take, I waste a move, right? But still I can break his pawn structure, and afterward in the middle game, afterward in the end game, to target the c3 pawn, the isolated pawn, and maybe do some h5 things and prevent him from moving g4, g5, and yeah, I could have played pretty well and had a significant advantage, but then I made the mistake. This is the pressure of playing against such a strong player, and after so much time I haven't played over the board. This is kind of the moments that it comes into play, and then yeah, I made the mistake and played a6, which is not that bad. I still have a slightly better advantage of 0.1, but I wasted the opportunity to break his pawn structure just by the sake of my general strategy against him and against strong player, which is true to stick with to some point, but when you have this opportunity, you want to deflect from that strategy and do the right move, and I made not the best move, just to make space for my bishop, and then he ran away, and then I castle. So now we are totally in an equal position, and yeah, which is not a bad thing for black, but yeah, I wasted my tiny advantage, becoming even a decent advantage if exchanging minor pieces, but yeah, that belongs to the past now. And you need to move forward during a chess game, and you can't change things that already happened. At this point I already felt a bit frustrated, because I thought I didn't know what exactly I missed, but I felt like something went not as best as I can plan. But still, I tried to do things, and when you push too much hard to try to complicate things and to win, you know what happens. You do mistakes like this one, even though this is a minor mistake. It's still not the best move. My idea was to go to f4, which is a strong placement for the bishop, for the knight, but then of course he made the best move, knight b3. Now his bishop controls f4, and he attacked my bishop, so I needed to go back, and I needed, by the way, to go to b6 after I evaluated the game with the engine at home. But that is just a slight difference, because now I don't control the a5. But anyways, he took the time here. I was not that well satisfied with this position, but I also knew that I'm kind of equal and I have fair game here, especially when you have black pieces against such a strong player. And he decided to exchange, which is not the best choice. As you can see, the evaluate bar now is leaning slightly to my favor, but then he made a very decent move to exchange this strong bishop I have. And here I was thinking about several options, maybe to exchange, but then he bring his knight to a very strong one. He can place it either on f5 or d5 and control the position, and I didn't want that. On the other hand, I could also put the things as they are and let my knight take the bishop, and then move to b5, develop from there, and do f5, open some space for my rook, and yeah, but I finally didn't do it. And instead I wanted to protect again the same mistake, that I was so rigid with my idea to keep as much as pieces on the board, and at this point it was too rigid. Now he is in a slight advantage position. I blocked my own bishop just for the sake of remaining on the game, and now he made f3, not allowing me to go to e2, and here is my biggest stupid anxious related move, f5. I just play without thinking. I was so impulsive in this move, and I realized that just in a second afterward that I can't take it in return because of a very basic fork with a pawn on g4. And yeah, at this point I understand it's over, because at this level, if you give such a pawn for nothing, it will squeeze that advantage very effectively. And yeah, this is what I understood at this point. I was devastated. I was so disappointed, as I got to surprise him for a bit with this anti-Scotch Gambit. He wasn't that comfortable, I could see it on his face, but I just screwed up with this gift pawn I gave him. But it is what it is. I was trying to keep moving forward somehow. So I tried to maybe complicate things somehow, when to go with my bishop to c4, or maybe exchange on b3, or I don't know, maybe g6 coming next. But now he made the g4 move, which is very decent move. He's going forward with his pawns, pressure me on the king side. And now I went to this idea of disturbing him with a bishop, which is another bad move, actually, because putting aside this interruption purpose is just doing nothing, actually. It just comes with the rook defending the knight, and it's nothing. Now I tried with the g6, desperately trying to convert my bad situation, but no. He came with f6 with the trap of, if I take, he just x-ray my rooks, and so I had to move with my rook, but not here. I should have moved to d7, and now yeah, he moved with a pawn, and here I just cut all the waiting time because it's already done. He just played effectively well. A squeeze advantage to be a better and a better advantage, along with more mistakes that I just, the game is psychological, because when you feel down, you are less concentrated and do even more silly stuff. Here I didn't notice his plan to come with a knight and just try to complicate things with the second line with my rooks, and somehow do b5 and bring back my bishop, but it was too obvious. He moved with his king, he ran away, and now I took this pawn, ignoring the fact that he's going to exchange rooks and checkmate me very soon. At some point I just buried my head in the sand, and continued with one mistake after another, and now it comes the best move. He could have played first knight h6 check, but he played the best order of the moves, with first bringing the rook, also attacking the c7 pawn, which has what I wrongly put my attention to, and then he just brought the powerful knight that I should have exchanged earlier with my bishop, and now it's already game over. If I move to h8, it's like checkmate in several moves, so I had to move back with my king to stop the pawn somehow, and now it's just game over. in a different variation. You just bring the pawn, and yeah, kind of that's it. I took another move, you know, with a desperate hope. Maybe I could somehow do some miracles here, and he will blunder, but such a strong candidate for being a national master would not do that. And at this point, yeah, I realized, you know, these moments when you realize that you are lost, there is no way that you can turn things over, and you just wait because you mess up, and I was so disappointed. So I hope you enjoyed this video and took value out of it, and seeing me playing live over the board against such a strong player with my unusual opening, which has brought me so many wins online. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and you are invited to watch my anti-Scotch Gambit. This is my original response to the Scotch game, and also to Nimzowitsch in the decline variation. So definitely watch that, and see you there.